Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talk to Me, Sis.
Yay.
We are so excited to invite some wonderful guests this week, and it is Milton and Amber Jones, father and daughter team. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Amber when I was with my son Connor. We went to a local radio station here in Atlanta. And Amber, you were in some big control room with a board that looked like, I don't even know, like you were going to fly a spaceship. I don't know what you do.
I'm a board operator for Q99.7. And so my job is to get the commercials and the music out on time.
Oh,
There's
wow.
a certain time frame that we have to keep up with. And it's a little taxing. And when you saw me, I wasn't using as much as I am currently. Once the Burt show ended, my job got a little bit more intricate. And so I just literally finished my first week of solo work on that board. A lot of mistakes, but no mistakes were made twice.
That's all you got to do, learn.
That's right. That's right.
So what was funny is my son Connor and I were going to be guests on a very famous radio show here in Metro Atlanta. It's actually syndicated, The Burt Show. And we were always sat in that boardroom, I guess is what you, and we would sit there and Amber could hear the funny calls. Anyway, Amber and I just started talking and bonding. I think we're both natural talkers. And then she told me about her and her dad. And that is why we're here today. And I am, first of all, just talking about your relationship with your dad and then kind of what you guys have started and the mission. And I was like, wait a minute, this is really important. Nikki and I have a podcast. Would you even consider being our guests? To which she said yes. So here they are.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, who is that good-looking man beside you?
Well, I'm the daddy. I'm the daddy. Been the daddy for quite some time.
Almost 40 years.
Oh my gosh, you're great, Amber. So Milton, tell us about you.
Well, I'm a lawyer, and I've been a lawyer since before Amber was born. And anyway, so we run a consumer bankruptcy practice. We take broke people and get them out of debt if we can. And so I've been doing that for a very, very long time and still doing it. But, after a while, an old guy like me kind of gets to the point wherein you don't want on your tombstone that, here lies Milton Jones. He wrote a really good appellate brief. We want to have something a little bit more substantive. And so we started, and Amber's been around me for the longest. We started this for 20, 25 years ago when we started getting interns for our law firm because we just knew there was a need for that kind of outlet for children. And so we started off with high schoolers from ninth graders to 12th graders. We would keep them for the entire going through high school. And what we would do was we would require that they read a classic book every month. My choice.
Yep.
I hassled my daughter with that. They had to read a classic book every month, my choice. They had to do a full book composition on that book. Okay, not just a book report, a book composition. And they had to do 10 new SAT type words every week. So by the time they finished with us, they had done 48 books, classic books. They had done 48 book compositions and over 2,000 SAT type words. So these kids were thoroughly prepared for the next step. But then we started to realize something around COVID was that our children were really falling behind, particularly the young. And so we kind of came to the conclusion and did all the studies on it and found that if you don't get them early, third grade is pivotal. If you don't get them early, then they fall behind and the chances are they'll never catch up. So now we pivoted and got interns from the elementary school type of age. And now we have 50 interns in our program. And so what we do is that we have the parents doing the heavy lifting. That is that we found that if the parent reads, or the guardian, or the auntie, or the uncle, or the pops, or the abuela, whoever, if they read to that child 15 minutes a day, then within a very short time, like a month, within a very short time, the child's reading level goes up one
Mhm.
full grade, along with all those other socialization type of situation that you have when you have the child, you know, being being talked to,
Yeah.
being,
Oh, yeah.
being taught, and making them sit their little butts down for 15 minutes while you read.
Okay.
That's the kind of thing that really it helps, because then we send them off to the teachers and the schools, and now these kids are ready to learn.
Oh,
I love it.
I want to
So
jump up and down. My daughter is a third grade teacher and taught
Oh.
last year. Milton, you're the man. I'm literally hear you saying this because she calls me almost every day and laments the fact that she spends the bulk of her time managing behavior and, communicating with parents and teachers on how to manage behavior and not enough time actually teaching the kids. And it all starts at home. I mean, you're on it. You're doing what needs to be done. They
I
have
just want to stop
to.
and see, what is the name of the organization? It's from broke to breakthrough, right? That's the name of the organization that is
Yes,
fostering all of this.
that's our nonprofit, From
That's
Broke to
the
Breakthrough. Now, the program is called Parent Child Read Aloud is Powerful.
I love that.
It's funny. I was his guinea pig because when I was in third grade, I was reading at a ninth grade level. I read Moby Dick in middle school.
Wow.
I read Prince and the Pauper in elementary school. I was reading more books than I hated it as a kid, but as an adult,
Right.
when I got to high school and college, and these books became things that you had to know, I was already ahead of everyone
There.
else.
Yeah.
So it made it easier for me in dealing with my vocabulary as well. It got to the point to where I was using larger words in everyday vocabulary with my peers, and they were looking at me like I was, what? What are
What?
you?
That's right. That's what we tell our kids. We give them the vocabulary words and we say, begin to use these. And you know when you got it right when you get beat up.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I love it. That's so good.
Milton, did you always have a love of reading? Did your wife
Mm.
tell me
Where did that come
how did you know to start this with Amber? I mean, did you
Well,
always just love books?
I always loved books, but I also go back to a guy named Carter G. Woodson.
Mm.
Now, Carter G. Woodson was an educator. In fact, he was responsible for Black History Week, which eventually became Black History Month.
Mhm.
And he wrote this book called The Miseducation of the Negro. And he said something that was very interesting and has always stuck with me, that there are two educations. There's the education you are given, there's the education you give yourself. And out of those two, the education you give yourself is far more valuable. That
Love
the education that you are given is not bad and it's helpful. It'll take you so far. But
right.
if you simply use that and nothing else, then you will be educated, but he used the term, you'll be miseducated.
Mm.
That's what Lauryn Hill came up with a long time ago, and I'm not sure she
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
completely explained it that way, but that was saying is that there's that education that you are given that makes you useful to the people that are running things, but then there's education you give yourself, which makes you useful to yourself, your family, and your community.
love it. So good.
So, not only from what I have in my hands here, did you start this program with these interns and you're obviously your 501c. You guys are authors.
Yes.
And I hate the blurriness here. I have 3 books that you so generously sent to me and
Love
you
it.
signed them. And we can at the end would love for you guys to tell people where they can find your books, your all ways to find you, support you, and everything. However, these books are great. So, who did you sit down together to write? And then, are there more books coming in the series? And Tell
Oh,
us.
let me try this one here.
Yes.
He has this mind that never stops. Even in his sleep, he will come up with the premise of a book or an idea based off of, let's say, a family member or a close friend. And actually, when you look at the books, a lot of them are based off of and what do you call it? Is it suggested? Ah,
They're in the book.
yeah, they're in the books. Having a hard time finding the words. Anyways, these people are in the books. And so he will come up with an idea of how to teach someone by making it personal. You know what I mean? And so together, he'll come up with the premise of the story and then we'll work it out together so that it is one, politically correct.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just say anything because you end up getting canceled before you get to make a print. So
Very, yeah.
but we
Unfortunately.
also wanted to make sure that it was something that the modern day child could understand and enjoy. And that's where I came in. He
Yep.
gave me the storyline, and then I helped kind of make it more personable to
Normal.
the child of
Right.
today.
Amber infuses it with her humor and her personality. Nobody wants to hear a lecture from a 71-year-old lawyer.
No, but she's also just cool and has her finger on the pulse. So
She
the
does
titles
it.
of these books are The Most Important Thing Daddy Does, Cows and Buffalo, and A Child's First Book About Money. I wonder if you had a lot to do with that, Milton, with
Well,
what you
you
do
know,
for work.
that was really the first book, the child's
Yeah.
book about money, is that I was really being kind of sneaky. Let me tell you what I was doing.
Tell
Is
us.
that none of our books are written for children. None of them are. They are written for the parents of the children.
Reading the book. Yes.
That's right. And so we want the parent to get the message out of the book and give it to the child. But in a very sneaky way, we're giving the message to the parent. Is that that first book about the when the rhythm of the drum beat changes, a child's first book about money.
Sorry, that's the When the Drum Beat Changes. That's the
When the-
title, but is a child's first
Right.
book about money, right?
Is that when that rhythm, there's a saying from the Kosi people in West Africa. They have a saying that when the rhythm of the drum beat changes, the dance steps must adapt. So is that was a story about adaptability with this child. And so what is the 21st century virtue that's needed more so than just about anything? And that is adaptability.
Ability. Yeah.
So we send that to the parent to show the child about this change in adaptability, but also in that same book, we also say there's money. And you need to have to figure out how to handle your money
Yeah.
early, because there's studies that found that by the time a child is 7 years old, their adult spending habits have already been ensconced.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we wanted to get to these kids early because I do bankruptcies all day. I handle people that are grown people
That are in
that, that are, 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s that never really knew what to do with their money. They simply took the lessons that they saw from around them, parents, rap videos, movies,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those places really don't teach you really good spending habits.
How to manage. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And so with these books, and then the whole thing is to get the kids, I think the parents, is it 15 minutes a day
Yes.
to sit and read aloud to their child,
Yes.
and 7 days a week.
Well, nobody does anything for 7 days a week all the time. But however, we wanted to kind of get that rhythm.
Yeah.
So that, there's an old lawyer who told me one time, he says, children don't have to be first all the time, but they have to be first sometime.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get into that rhythm that the child knows that every day or close to every day, there's going to be like a 15-minute period when I get my daddy, when I get my mommy, when I get, all to myself, and I can look forward to it. Unfortunately, a lot of times we treat our children like this. We say, okay, I've taken care of the job. and I've taken care of all the bills, and I've taken care of all the house things, and I've taken care of all. Okay, now, child, let's take a look at you.
Mhm.
It makes, and they understand this and they pick up on it. So
Like
that's why we're trying to change that whole dynamic in our families. So that's why we write these books the way we write them, so that the parents become engaged also. In other words, we don't do, dancing possums and all that silly stuff. We don't do all that. We kind of make it so that the parent voice comes through the books and goes straight to the child.
I love it, and oh, go ahead, Lisa.
No, go ahead. You got it, Nikki.
Yeah, and just, I mean, 15 minutes in looking back, that is what my kids remember. Those small, little quiet moments, those things that didn't seem like they were such a big deal. It is unbelievable what an impact just a small daily commitment can make for your child's development. And the reading, honestly, like as a mother, having four and being really busy by the time the fourth one came along and we had special needs thrown into our life by then, honestly, the difference in how much I read to number one and number four showed up in, use of language, reading comprehension, all those types of things were harder for him. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but it was what it was. I can look back and say that I did not read as much to him as I did to the first one simply because of lack of time. So it is so important. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it is.
So Milton and Amber, did you guys see like a specific void or deficit, or this just and say, wait, we really need to jump in and help these interns and kids? Or were you like, no, I'm just so passionate about this. I want to instill this. How did it come to be with like the motivation to start all this?
I remember being in school with all the things that my father taught me outside of school. I felt like I was, well, I'm not trying to be rude, but I felt smarter than the average kid. And not just that, not even in the way of that, but in so of they were ignorant to a lot of things, but simple things. You
Right.
know, I ran into some kids who were illiterate and they were just being passed on simply because they were good at a sports or what have you. Maybe their dad knew the principal. I don't know, but
Right.
some kids, especially in my time growing up, it was don't leave no child behind, and they just
Pass
send them
them
right on up to the next. You know what I'm saying? Whether these children are actually prepared for that or not.
Make it the
Dad
next
realized.
grade's problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the next teacher's problem. And of course, not every teacher has the ability or the capability, or just sometimes they're just burned out because they have so many kids coming through, especially these days, and they're being raised by social media. The behavior issues in the classroom tends to take precedence to the actual education. You know what I mean? And that's a waste of time. You only get so much time in that classroom to teach that subject. And then it became, well, let's just focus on the test scores. If the test scores look good, then we're fine. But the thing is, these kids immediately forget the things that they've learned on these tests. So dad ended up doing some research there on these SAT scores and other scores, noticing that there's a huge problem. And we also implemented those test scores and how we developed the curriculum of reading 15 minutes a day.
That's right. Is that we did see the problem. And the problem that we have to remember, okay, here's what I'm really going back to. We have to remember is that it's illogical to think the people that screwed it up are going to be able to fix it up. It just doesn't work that way. And so we got a really, really system that really is not working for the children in a lot of times that are not working for our children. And unfortunately, we're looking toward those same people to have us give us a strategy in order to fix it. It doesn't work out that way. I had this conversation with this principal one time, and I said, listen, we're trying to do two different things as far as educating our children. He says, no, we're trying to do the same thing. I said, no, we're not. We're trying to do two different things. For example, we used to live in a house in Morrow, Georgia that was a split level, yeah, up, level, whatever. And it only had one HVAC system. So it had a thermostat in the hallway between the levels.
Yep.
And you set that at 75. But because of thermodynamics, upstairs is 82,
right.
downstairs is 68.
68, yeah.
But as far as the thermostat was concerned, it was 75 degrees.
Right.
This is what they do to our children as far as these tests go. They say, okay, take the test, and we're going to train you for the whole dadgum year to take the test. And so you take the test, and the test says 75 degrees. But upstairs and downstairs, we know that's not so.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, is that as a parent, we're looking for heating or cooling the whole house.
Yep.
Whereas you, teacher, are looking for that thermostat in the hallway. I
Yeah.
said, but we can do both. We can do both. I have my kids who go through, if you can imagine, that a child's read 48 books, did 48 book compositions, got 2,000 SAT words. Thermostat don't matter. That child,
That's
that
right.
child is going to pass anybody's test.
Anything.
And
I
that's
love
what
it.
we're doing with our kids in the lower grades now. We give that 15 minutes a day to the child, and then that child goes to school ready. But we also do something else that's really sneaky. I told you, talk to the sneakiest people ever. Okay?
I love it.
I love it.
That's right. Don't tell anybody.
We won't tell anyone.
Listeners, cover your ears.
That's Is that we take these kids and say, in September, when we pick them up for the year, we say, listen, parents, read to them 15 minutes a day. They get the stroke. September, October. Now in November, what we say to them is, you, parent, go to the school and talk to the teacher and say, teacher, my child is in this special program, because what we do with the kids, we send them a copy of our books, and we send them a T-shirt that says "From Broke to Breakthrough," and they get we dap them up. They get the idea that they are, and we send them a check every month, $10 and a check,
$10 a month.
$10 a month, and the reason why we do that is because that just little bit. That just check coming in with their name on it, their stamp on it. One lady told me, she says, Jabari got a check and he was unstoppable. He
yeah.
went through the house.
That.
He put that check in everybody's face and said, I'm a working man. I'm a working man.
Oh gosh, I love it.
So is
That's
that
great.
we dap them up. In addition to that, I say, go to the teacher and say, teacher, I want your reading syllabus for the whole semester. They all have them. They're all downloadable. Download them. And I said, now, parent, what you do is take this reading assignment and you get them about 2 weeks ahead of the class. So now, whenever the teacher gets to that point, like we're going to read today, Jack and the Beanstalk or whatever.
Yeah.
She looks over at Jabari and she says, Jabari, since she knows that he already knows about it, Jabari, tell us about that.
Well,
Jabari stands up, pokes his little chest out, tells it all about it, and then sits down. Now, here's the interesting part about it, is that once that happens, the teacher thinks Jabari's smart.
Yep.
His boys think
smart.
he's smart.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The girls think he's smart. The parents think he's smart. You never guess what? We done dapped that child up, and that child is smart.
And he's confident.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
Self-esteem, confidence. And then the other piece that you are sneaky, because that $10 for the internship or the work they're doing, then there's money management.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
You're
That's right.
teaching the money management before they get to the critical point. Did you say 7 years old?
Yeah. 7 years old is when they say they start to have those ideas
Wow.
ensconced. So I told you, you've seen a couple of the sneakiest people you ever want to meet.
I love it.
Into this.
So
Okay.
when did you start? How many years have you been doing this?
Oh, we've been doing that since the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since I
we've
was
been
in
having
middle school, I think.
We've been having high schoolers since the 90s. But then after COVID, around 22, we pivoted to the younger people.
The younger kids. So 22. So I was like, do you have any kids who have come back and said, Mr. Jones, Miss Jones, like do you have any like kids that come back and tell you what you did for them?
All the time. We have one child, Jay, And Jay happens to be, I got to show you. Jay happens to be
Cows in the Buffalo book
the
is what I was
cows
Okay,
looking
wait.
at.
I got my cow and
cows in the
buffalo.
buffalo. Okay. Is that as you see this, all through there, you'll see these, the children and the characters, mostly female because I'm a girl dad.
You're a girl
But
dad.
anyway,
I'm a girl
is that-
dad. Yeah.
but Kara and Jay were two of my interns. And so they show up in many of the books.
It's
So
basic.
cute.
So now Jay is a third-year law student at Howard.
Oh, wow.
And so we've had several of kids who come back. and now
Loratus.
Loratus is doing very, very well. He's an executive with some company. I don't know what. But he's an
He's doing very
executive,
well.
and he's doing really, really well. These kind of things, I think, prepare these children
Oh,
for they get buffeted all the time. They get buffeted by, society, rap videos, movies, whatever. They get buffeted. And so I found that because a lot of people want to overreact to that and they want to do the indoctrination for children, like maybe a separate school or whatever. But we found that it really only takes a little bit of good stuff to crowd out the garbage. And that 15 minutes a day crowds out the garbage. Let me tell you about a child who's really doing well, okay? Because I know a lot of people want to know, does this really work?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can answer with a, yeah, it do. Let me tell you about one of our kids this year. Lacey, Lacacia. But anyway, Lacey, everybody calls her Lacey. She is a remarkable girl. She's like in the 3rd or 4th grade, whatever. And she was held back last year because her reading scores were so low. The system just wasn't doing it for her. So me and her mama, Terica, we decided we're going to put this program into place.
yeah.
Mama started reading to this child 15 minutes every day. Very recently, our child, Lacey, has retested, and now she's rejoined her class.
That's
She's
amazing.
now grade level. But that's not all. Lacey is the person in her class that's designated to read aloud to the children in the
I got
class.
chills. That's
Okay? But
Love-
that's not all.
there's more.
Yeah, there's more.
more.
That's not all.
There's more.
I
Is
could
that
cry.
Lacey also is going back to the 1st graders and kindergartners, and she reads now to those children.
I love it.
That's not all. Lacey,
Milton, you're fab.
Lacey also goes with her mama. She goes to St. Jude Hospital, and she reads aloud to the patients there. That's not all. Lacey also has been recently put into the gifted section of her class as far as reading. But that's
A
not all.
child who is held back. Okay.
Yeah, that's not all. Okay. Here's the last thing, the cherry on top, is that Lacey is now writing her 1st book.
Daggone. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Being
Is
read
that
15 minutes.
we believe
Yep.
in what Frederick Douglass told us. Frederick Douglass told us a long time ago, it is easier to build strong children
Yes.
than
and-
it is to
Wow.
repair broken men.
Amen.
If we
In
can
it-
get them dapped up early, I think that you'll have it done. But once they get, so it's hard to take a child that's like in 8th grade and reading at a 2nd grade level and bring them up.
and bring them up.
You've missed your window. But if you get them at 2nd grade and they're a year behind or whatever, it's doable.
Okay, I want to take everything you're saying and just blast it out on every airway because the mother. I'm from a family of teachers. My dad was an educator. My sister was an educator. Both my daughters are teachers, and we have seen in Tanner's life because Tanner has severe intellectual deficits, but he can read and he can write. And we always say the fact that he can read saved him, and he is functioning far higher, like far higher than he technically should be. Like if you look at his test scores on paper, you would not think he can do what he's doing in life, but he can read. You know,
Mhm.
he can comprehend, and it's changed his entire path. And I just and having my daughters come home and tell me every day what it's like to teach children today. If there was just a way we could get this out to more young parents, such a small sacrifice, dedicated sacrifice of your time, just to being a little bit proactive with your children just has such unbelievable long-term results. And I hope lots of young parents are listening to this because, oh my God, what a wonderful thing.
But
It's
I
amazing.
want to piggyback off of that and just say, just for a minute, Lacey's story is incredible. But what you're doing for the fabric of families at
Mhm.
such a basic level that we've lost. We've lost to TV, we've lost to cell phones being in kids' hands, wait, tablets. It breaks
Mhm.
my heart, Milton and Amber, when I go into a restaurant and a whole family's at the table and a kid's on a tablet and mom and dad are in their phones. And I'm like, you are creating a bonding moment between a parent, a caregiver, a grandparent, and a child that is encouraging them to get away from a screen of
Yeah.
any kind and turn a page in a book. But you're creating time. So it's just so many layers of things that
Yeah.
you are that 15 minutes you're gifting this family or requiring them. You're repairing the fabric of a broken families, like even families that are still
Oh, it's
married
unreal.
parents, but everyone's just in these silos under one roof.
I love it. Amazing. It's so much bigger. And just even the fact of like looking at your parents' face. I mean, like we're doing this, all of us, all the time. You
Mhm.
being at our phone. But when someone's reading to you, you're looking at their face. So you start to understand facial expression and you start to understand how to non-verbally communicate better. It's just so many things that are happening there. And it's just so good.
I love it
So
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 much.
y'all are sneaky too.
Takes one to know one. But let me I want to talk more about the broke to breakthrough. Like how are you getting support for that? Do you have community partnerships? Like what are some ways people can help? Do you have events? Like what do you do for that?
Well, is that we're very fortunate that we've been able to build up like an email list of over 2,000 people. So
Mhm.
there are all kinds of people in that. And of course, I went to Morehouse, and Morehouse, we have a connection and a mafia, Morehouse, a connection that there's people all over the place that help us out. We've been able to get donations from churches like Emmanuel Baptist up in New York gave us some money. John's Fine Foods down here, Clayton Cares, Clayton County, a few other people. And so now we're ready to go forward and really show people that this works. It really took us a year or so to get our feet under us because we kind of didn't quite know how well this would work with these kids.
Right.
Now we've gotten to the point where we know exactly what needs to be done. And yes, we're going to put it all out. Now, Amber and I have written another book.
Ooh, let's
In
see.
addition to these books, we've written another book that's been put up last week. It's an ebook on
Okay.
Amazon, and it is called Parent Child Read Aloud is Powerful. Quickly increase your child's reading level by one full grade. In other words, it's almost like an owner's manual
Yeah.
Okay.
that we give a step by step to the parents as to this 15 minutes and explain, I think, in a lot more detail as to what we're doing and why we're doing it. And so we put it into an ebook because it's a little bit easier and it can be a little cheaper. In addition to that, we were going to have it printed, but we print our books over in China. And,
Yeah. There's that. Yeah.
everything's up in the air right now. So we're
Yeah.
not sure how soon we can get that done. But yes, and Amber and I have already written another 3 books that we will eventually put up on ebooks and make hardcovers and whatever. Because the second book, it deals with a problem. And I look to you also to maybe give me some ideas on this. Let me tell you the problem. About 70% of our children are not reading at grade level. We know that. But the problem is this: 90% of parents believe their child is reading at grade level or above.
That's a disconnect.
That
Mhm.
It's a disconnect, and it's also difficult to have people think that they need to fix something which they don't think is really broke. So that's a real that is the dilemma. That is the problem that we'll have in the second book, which will say, Parent Child Read Aloud is powerful. Your child needs your help now.
yeah.
Because inside of that book, we're going to have like a glossary or appendix where for first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, just a paragraph. And
So
just say, all right, sometimes you don't know your breath stink. Let's go back. Let's go back and find out. And I say that, cautiously because I'm standing right behind my daughter. Anyway, is that
I'm in the
I
danger
want,
zone over here.
yeah, I want
Love
the
you.
parents.
Y'all are the best.
I want the parents to maybe just do in the quiet of their home to just say, read this paragraph.
yeah.
Mhm. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be always a novel or something like that. Just sharing curriculum or not even just reading things that they would not get in school is also
Right.
going to help uh, really expose them to things that they're not being exposed in schools. Different words, vernaculars, cultures, all those things, whether it's a menu, a magazine, maybe you have Pinterest and I don't know, whatever it is, but you're sharing something different that they're not always getting in school. So that's
Which
also a
is
good way.
the education you're given or the education you give yourself.
For yourself. Yeah.
Bingo.
I
She's
love
got it. Give her
I'm
5 stars.
following along.
5 stars.
Wait, Milton, am I doing good?
You are.
You are. You're going to be just as sneaky and clever as we are.
And and going back to that, the problem of 90% of parents thinking that their children can do things that they can't do, or, a large percentage. I mean, what is y'all's thought on that? I mean, I know my thought. My thought is let the teachers teach and let them hold them back and let them suggest repeating a grade or, because as I said, for having daughters for teachers, there is a lot of pressure, unfortunately, sometimes to push a child through or to not make a child repeat a test or to not make a child actually do the work that they need to do to successfully learn and truly achieve the grade level. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
What do you think, Amber?
Well, the whole thing is no matter the situation, the parent needs to be involved.
They need to know.
They need to be involved. Whether you're reading 15 minutes a day or you're checking the home, whatever it is, you
Mhm.
need to be involved because these teachers, first of all, we already know that those classrooms are filled. We
Yeah.
already know that they're underpaid. There's a whole lot of other things that a lot of parents are not thinking about
Mhm.
that
Right.
that may unfortunately cause an issue with why their child is not learning in class. And it's not
That
always
yeah.
inside the classroom with that child. It could just be just the system itself is failing the kids. So the
Mhm.
parents have to be involved.
They do. They
They
do.
have to.
I agree with that, Amber. Thank you. Is that I go back to what Frederick Douglass said. It's easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men.
For
And
sure.
if we can get the kids early, just like we get these little elementary school kids, we can dap them up, give them that cachet,
Mhm.
and let them go in there. And it never has to be a question of whether or not the child is behind. The child's always going to be ahead. That's the third book that we're writing in that little trilogy.
Yeah.
The third book is Parent Child Read Aloud is Powerful. Let's make your child the smart kid.
That. Yes. But
Yeah.
and I hope parents are hearing that because it really does all come back home. I mean,
Mhm.
it all comes back to what you're doing at home and or what you're not doing at
Yeah.
home. Really, really does.
The one thing that a lot of people need to remember as well is I know we all have jobs, we all have responsibilities in and outside of the home, but it's also a good thing for you. These are memories that you can create together, as you said earlier. These are the moments where you can look back on, and I can use an example for myself. When I was in college, there were a lot of books that we had to read, obviously, and I would say actually, yeah, all of them I had already read. I was already good to go. I had book reports that I was going back that I wrote when I was in like middle school. That I was like, I would go home and visit, and I would get those old book reports, and I would read. Those were my Spark notes.
You had
But
your
you
own
had
place
done it.
after
Those
college.
were my Spark notes. So I was prepared. I was prepared for that what you would quote unquote academia world. You know what I mean? And I had the confidence in doing that. And I actually did better in college than I did in high school because I had that confidence. And also because of that whole book a week, 10 words a week, my vocabulary was already excelling. So when I had to take the SATs and things like that, I wasn't as worried about those particular subjects. I was ready to go.
That's right. We're trying to make the whole house warm or cool. We're trying to do the whole house, a whole child. And
Yep.
I believe if we succeed in doing that, it don't matter about that daggum thermostat.
That's
Nope.
right.
We'll
No.
beat it every time.
Now, when you have the kids do book compositions of books, are you grading them and reading them? I mean, where's the accountability for the children?
I'm reading those, but I'm not grading them.
Okay, you're
I
just reading
figure
them.
they got enough grades.
Yeah,
In
sure.
other words, when I was with these kids, like the high school kids, I would be with them for 1/2 an hour a week.
Okay.
That's it. Maybe 1 hour, but around that time. And by that time, the child comes in, they are eager and they show me, what they've gotten. I say, good, let's talk. And we will talk about it. And the child will come up with a lot of stuff that you want to say, my goodness. I was Laradas, one of our kids.
Yeah.
He tackled Dostoevsky.
He's my age now.
Wow.
He tackled Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment, and he understood about Nietzsche and the Uberman and all that other kind of stuff. And I'm just sitting there looking at this child and saying, my goodness. And he says, Attorney Jones, let me tell you a secret. I said, okay, tell me a secret. He says, I've read more books than my teacher has.
Unbelievable. I love it.
And these kids are kind of doing that. I said, well, I said, don't show off to them too much because they may beat you up really bad. But is that I want these kids to be able to walk in a place and command. In other words, I had one child, Jay, who went to this special retreat with all these brainiac kids. And one of the children was trying to intimidate her about how she didn't realize, I think it was something from Shakespeare.
Okay.
And she says, oh, no, I know all about that. And she told them all about it. She says, but do you know anything about Ngugi wa Thiong'o, about Chinua Achebe? Do you know Zora Neale Hurston? Do you know James Baldwin? And so, she got a chance to slap him upside intellectually.
Yeah, I was going to say, mic drop. Yeah.
2 pieces in a biscuit.
Intellectually, because what we want is our children to be wide and deep, but wide.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you see, how do you see the future of this program? Do you see it growing? Do you want chapters in other areas? I mean, you two are this father-daughter duo. You've already done so much, but what's the future hope? Or, Amber, do you feel the pressure to bring this into the, keep it going?
Certainly do, because there's no way I was going to law school. So this is it.
Yeah. This is the legacy. So what's the future hopes and plans?
Well, what I want to do is, I said, change that whole thing. And I almost sound like Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol when he got pointed toward the grave. You remember that when he was going to end up there anyway, and then it made him change his ways.
Yeah. And then he ran through town giving out all the money. Yeah.
But I do want it to be able to say that I did more than simply, practice in law, and then wrote very good briefs and argue cases. I've been in cases before the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals and arguing cases, but that really doesn't mean nearly as much as helping some child like Lacey.
I was going to say, when Lacey is being sworn in as the president of the United States, she will think of you.
When she's picking up her Nobel Prize for Literature, her Pulitzer or whatever, she's going to credit us with a little something.
I think so.
I think the future, of our nonprofit, and as you all know, of dealing with many nonprofits, it is a difficult time right now for nonprofits. A lot of donations have gone down because of everything that's happening in the world right now. Money is tight. Money is tight.
Yeah.
So what we're doing right now is we're hoping that those who are listening right now they're taking this free information right now, and they can literally, this is a deposit into their child's future. And whether we get donations or not, our plan is to keep going forward. We want people to raise above, because right now, as we said, there's a lot of kids out here who don't know how to read. Some of them can't write. There's a lot of people who can't read an analog clock at this point.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but they can definitely give you word for word from a TV show they like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have to just start putting time in the things that matter the most. And our future is something that many people aren't thinking about. And taking a look at, where do I want to be? Where do you want to be in 5 years? I have no idea where I'm going to be, but I do know I want to be educated. I do know I want to be confident, and I want to be able to read.
Yes. Yeah. Those are all
That is
very
the future. The future is making sure that these people, these children can read, and these families are working together, because these schools, these teachers, these principals, the school board, they can't do it all alone. And even if they had the energy, they certainly don't have the money.
Right.
So it has to be something that we do at home. So if something happens to either one of us, God forbid, this information is still out there. And that is our legacy. The lives that can be changed from what has been done thus far. That's all we can do.
Oh my gosh. I love
Amazing.
that.
Y'all are incredible.
I can tell you two are so close. I mean, even just talking to Amber by myself, and you were just telling me about your dad, and I felt the love for your dad. I was like, you were just so close. And how has working on this organization, like, what's it done for your relationship, working as adults side by side? Milton, you tell me. And then Amber, you go after. But Milton, working with your daughter like this, in this capacity.
I said, made our little family, and it's made us closer and made us understand each other, I think, a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do this. I'm going to say another book. That's right, another book.
Another book.
This one's kind of autobiographical.
Let me see it so they can see it.
You have it, Lise?
Yeah, I have it. Can you see?
And so it worked out this way because people told us all along. They said, well, where's the mama? Where's the mama, Because we had like 2 or 3 books out and there was no mention of the mama. And I said, well, I was holding that back because I said, once again, I am a girl dad, but also wanted to kind of let you know how we feel about this whole thing, okay? How we put it together. Anyway.
You're about to love this.
That's right. This is Jay, of course, the one that's a 3rd-year law student up in Howard. Anyway, so I'm going to just give your readers or give your viewers a chance to just see how easy this whole thing is to read 15 minutes. Okay? We're just going to take a couple of minutes, take a look at one of these books. Put the child on your knee. All righty. You got your child on the knee?
Got my child.
All righty. Is that Jay says, hi, I'm Jay, and this is the most important thing Daddy does. Daddy gives me hugs every day, but that's not the most important thing he does. See, I like that move.
Yeah.
My daddy takes me and my bestie Kara to the market, but that's not the most important thing he does. My daddy reads aloud to me every day, but that's not the most important thing he does. My daddy goes to work every day, so we have a home, but that's not the most important thing he does. My daddy takes me shopping to buy school clothes, but that's not the most important thing he does. My daddy takes me out to eat every Thursday for daddy-daughter night, but that's not the most important thing he does. Sometimes at night, we go outside and my daddy shows me the moon and stars, but that's not the most important thing he does. The most important thing he does is he loves my mama. I'm Jay, and this is my mama, and this is my daddy, and we love him. The end.
Okay. Why you
Yeah.
make me
This book
cry?
literally is a biography of our relate. Everything he said, we did and have done and still do. He still takes me outside to look at the stars and constellations. And forgive my tears. Mm, we got to get this book out before my mother passed, and she got to see this book. And I was just thinking about her just now. And this was such an important book for our family. And it's also important for those who are listening right now, excuse me, that literally is the most important thing a father can do. Whether I know there's a lot of toxic relationships out there and a lot of things happening and whatnot, but no matter what your relationship is, how you feel, you treat that parents with respect, especially in front of that child.
Right. But
You know, you show them that love.
you can also see that once again, you're being clever. You're giving that message to the young fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
You know,
I'm divorced from my children's father. And, you know, there were years where that was very difficult for both of us, but we've gotten to a place, but it impacts children when they see either parent being disrespectful or unloving. Even if you're split, you've got to find a way to keep the dignity and respect there. But that's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
And Amber, I could tell when he did the Thursday night dinners or taking me outside. Was that you too?
All of it was us,
all of us.
on Thursday night, it all started with Captain D's. We would go every Thursday. I later learned why he chose that.
Why?
Because kids ate free under 12 at Captain D's.
Milton, he's so sneaky. He's so sneaky.
I love him so much.
Managing
He
his
is such a frugal man, let me tell you.
I do that.
I'm a kids ate free on.
We're spending time. We're doing it all in one night.
Yes.
And so we would get our food and we would talk, and this is the time for me to tell Dad about my day, my week, you know, my teachers, my friends, what have you. And then later on, as I got older, I couldn't eat free no more. We ended up expanding our restaurants that we went to. We would try different cultures. We would go to a Chinese restaurant, and then it turns out our waiter was from Thailand, and we learned how to say words in Thai like "Terima manis." What was that, like thank you?
Oh, Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih is Indonesian.
Love it.
Indonesian. See, God, I remember now.
The
But
man is
there's
so
a lot of
smart.
things. It's been a minute since we've done that, but the fact that I knew something. Okay,
There you go.
But we would do that, and he would teach me he would teach me so many things in just those outings, the experience of life. You know what I'm saying? And the different cultures and the different foods. And it's gotten to the point to where I enjoy trying new things. I enjoy putting myself out there just to have the experience of it. I climbed a volcano because of him. He sent me to Guatemala when I graduated college. I went there, it was like a month.
A month.
It's like a month. I was in Guatemala living with a host
Antigua.
family in Antigua. Antigua and Guatemala. And it was, I stayed with a host family, the Lopez family. And I was there, I forget the name of the program, but I was learning Spanish while I was there.
Okay.
Right.
Español muy poquito estoy tratando, okay?
I was going to say that's fully immersed to do that.
Almost. That's my favorite line because I can say it fast.
And you got the little mouth movement with it. Yeah.
You have to. I came back with an accent, actually. It was weird. But I climbed Volcano Pacaya when I was there. And it's an active volcano there. It actually erupted while I was there. And we climbed up it, roasted marshmallows and the lava, all the things. It was great. You could never do that in the US. But because of, I have to say, I actually never said this to you before. I didn't think of it till now. But because of just the small things of you taking me out to symphonies, to plays, we were doing more than just going out to dinner. We were experiencing culture and society and entertainment of different realms. Because of that, you know, I like listening to rap music in Japanese. Like it's like he has
Amazing.
opened my world to so many things by just that.
We want to make you wide and deep.
I'm certainly that.
Yeah.
And I love that too. As someone who was raised to think very narrowly, you know, and to have tunnel vision about a lot of that is so refreshing, because when children grow up like with that curiosity, I mean, the more curious you are, the more successful you're going to be, the more open you're going to be to other people, the more you're going to love people who are different from you. I love that.
Can
Amazing.
you see why now, Nikki, when I met Amber, I was like, we need these people on the
Oh,
podcast. I was like,
and it's so cool too, because when Lee said it to me, because I actually had unexpectedly a guest just kind of happen into my life that we interviewed yesterday, and she had y'all. So we both had like a really cool, just happen, by chance meeting happen to us, and that we were immediately like, we want these people on the podcast. It's just been so cool. When she was telling me about what y'all do, it just was overwhelming for me because reading has been such a huge part of Tanner's life and his success. And it's one thing that he's sharing now. He loves to go into school and read to kids. That's what he loves to do. He goes in his very simple, childlike way and sits in front of the classroom and holds the book. And he's not even that artful with it. You know what I mean? Like he always holds the picture in the perfect way, but he reads to them. And we have been fascinated. With all the limitations that he deals with, he can get 30 first graders locked in on him and he can hold their attention.
And that's hard to do these days.
I mean, it is, and he's just sitting there reading, but they love it. They love it. They love that undivided attention from that young man. It's just, what you're doing is so meaningful.
I love it. And I guess we just didn't get Amber's response to what has this done for you and your relationship with Dad?
Oh my goodness. I am such a daddy's girl, have been since birth.
I can
Apparently,
tell.
he knew my name before I was an embryo. That's a whole story he's going to tell on his own.
That's right. That's another time.
That's another time. That's over drinks.
Okay. We'll do it.
But I'm looking at so many of my friends I remember growing up, and a lot of them came from, divorced families and things like that. And every time I would say my mom and my dad this, my mom and my dad that, they were like, your dad's still around? It was always like a joke. They actually called us, I don't know if I told you this, but I was teased they would call my family the Huxtables. because I was educated. I quote unquote talked white, as they would sometimes say.
Sure, I understand that. Yeah.
And so I became really comfortable in that quote unquote, I guess, typecast they gave me, because it was true. I took it as a compliment. That was a great show. The Huxtables are amazing. The TV show.
I loved that show.
Only the Cosby Show.
And it was on Thursday night.
Yes, it was. And I had to catch reruns because, I was out.
You were at Captain D's.
I was. But he instilled me with so much curiosity in the world itself that I became open to asking questions. You have any idea how many people don't speak up when they don't know something and they pretend that they do?
For sure.
I don't do that. I don't see the point in pretending I know something that I don't, because it's just going to make me look even dumber down the road. And honestly, asking a question isn't dumb. If you don't know, if you're ignorant to something, then change that. Ask the question. And he gave me a lot of confidence and safety of not knowing, but also knowing, if that makes any sense.
And knowing when to say, I don't know. And it's okay. Knowing when to say, I don't know. What, Amber, what was your mom's name?
Her name is Mary Jones.
Mary Jones and Milton Jones raised one hell of a girl.
Yeah.
You did. Well done. Tell us, how can we help share your initiative? Tell people where we can find you, how we can support you. I would love to get some of these books in Tanner's hands and he could take them to kids' classrooms. But tell us what we can do to get people to find you, donate, and share in the initiative.
We have a website. It's from broke to breakthrough. We just use the initials, FB2B.
Okay.
INC. So FB2BINC.com. So there, it really gives a lot more detail as to what we are. And of course, it gives an order form so you can order the books. And it gives some background from Amber, where she kind of sits there and explains what the program is. And so, yes, so if people want to go to that one, www.fb2binc.
We could put that in the show notes too, right,
Yeah, I'll
Mickey?
send it
So
to you.
people
Put it
can
in the show.
click. Yeah.
They can click it. Yeah.
Right.
To it.
And
Yeah.
also for the latest book that we have from Amazon, we'll go ahead and give you something for the show notes
A link?
also.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, a link that you can go in there and pick up the latest one, which is the Parent Child Read Aloud, quickly increase your child's reading level by 1 full grade.
Perfect.
And
Love
of
it.
course, it does have on the website a place where people can make donations if they want to.
That's what we're talking
And
about. Helping
and
people.
join, yeah,
Okay,
and
Steph,
join
think of
our
Lacey, think of Jay. Yeah.
Yes, yes. They can join our emailing list as well. Also, speaking of Amazon, we would love those 5-star reviews.
yes,
Yes.
reviews.
5-star reviews.
In fact, we are so excited because we put the book up in September,
Mhm.
and now it is November, and we already have 52 excellent 5-star reviews.
52?
52.
It's 45 last I heard.
Yeah. So it's growing.
I
You
love
heard it
it.
here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Amber, you're the best. Listen, Milton and Amber, thank you for spending so much of your time with us today. And I'm really thrilled that thank you for coming on and talking to us. And we are going to really promote this episode. If you have any social media, Amber, like even you want a collab post when we go to promote the episode, we'd love to all
We'll
do it
send it.
together. And
All right, yeah.
Milton,
Can I
thank
leave
you.
y'all with the story?
Yes, leave us with a story.
Leave you with a story. This is for parents
Okay.
under the guise of being for children. Okay, this is for parents, all right? Because, as I grew up, there was just a ribbon. You get a blue ribbon, you get a red ribbon, you get a whatever. Everything was very competitive.
I had
And-
stars, stickers.
And
Stickers.
then they went to like participation trophies.
Mhm.
And one thing that I've noticed that the children aren't quite as tough as they once were. They're just not quite as determined and all that. And so we wrote this book that we're going to leave you with this idea
Let's do it.
about what we think about that whole situation. This is called, you want to hold it up for them?
Yes.
Okay, hold it up. Cows and Buffalo. Now, we kind of went through a whole thing as whether or not we should call it buffaloes or buffalo.
Yeah, that was a thing.
And I think we finally settled in on it because of the song.
Okay.
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo. Anyway.
Yes, I like that.
Buddy on it.
That was the contingency.
Anyway, this is a story about my name is Jay and my name is Kara. And this is our story about cows and buffalo. In western Colorado, they have snow-capped mountains, but to the east, they have the wide, flat Kansas plain. It's one of the few places where you have both cows and buffalo in the same space. It's flat, and you can see all the way to the horizon. You can look out and see a storm rolling in. And if you're up there, you really can. It looks like a giant floor scrubber coming at you.
Yeah.
Just as we can see the storm coming, animals can see it too. When cows see it, they gather in a herd and they run away from the storm. But cows don't run very fast, and the storm quickly overtakes them. Because they run with the storm, they stay in the storm for a long time. Sometimes, as they run with the storm, a big gust of wind gets under them. Whoosh, flying cow. If you've ever seen any of those disaster movies with
The
tunnel,
Twister.
Twister, yeah.
they always talk about flying cows.
The cow goes by, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really how it happens. The cow is in full gallop, and it's like a 747. That wind gets under them and gets picked up. The buffalo act differently when they see the storm coming. They gather in a herd and run into the storm at full gallop. Because they run against the storm, they get through the storm easier and quicker. Cows and buffalo face the same storm, but how they react to the storm makes all the difference.
Wow.
Storms are like the challenges we will all have. When we see a storm coming, what should we do? Be the buffalo.
I
Oh, love you too.
Oh,
I
the
just
buffalo.
love
I
you
love
guys. These
that
are
is
amazing. Thank you so much for leaving us with that story. And the way
Yeah.
we leave people on our podcast is we always say this: thank you for being here with us, and we love you, mean it.
it.
We love you, mean it. Throw those hands up.
Get those hands
Yeah.
up, Milton. We
Yeah,
love you, mean
yeah,
it.
Love
yeah.
you. Seriously, we will be reading those books soon. Next time I take
Yes.
children to school, and we will tag y'all and make sure you're
Yes.
doing it.
And email me and let me know how many more books that you may need. You said you want some for Tanner?
I
I would
would love
love
for
some.
Tanner to get a set because Tanner does
Oh,
go in and read, and
Yes.
we can start doing that too.
well,
Wonderful. All
they
right,
will be
wonderful.
All right.
read. They will
Thank
be
y'all.
read.
All right.
Thank
Well,
y'all.
thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful, blessed rest of your day.
Will
Thanks.
do. Thank
Bye.
you.
Lastly, everybody, if you liked hanging out with us today, do us a favor, hit the follow button, leave a rating, or drop a quick review. It helps more than you know. And if you really loved it, send it to a friend who needs to hear this. And if you're interested in sponsoring a future episode, please send us an email at talktomesismail@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and love you, mean.